Mr. Michael Amalfitano, President and CEO of Embraer Executive Jets, to the stage.
Good morning and welcome to Orlando. eBase was fantastic earlier this year, but NBAA base is set up to be a fantastic success, and we're happy that you're here to kick that off. I always enjoy having the opportunity to showcase Embraer, and a lot of what's happening at Embraer speaks volumes for what's happening in aerospace as an industry. We have a fiduciary responsibility to sustainability, and what we have to offer to the marketplace has to be not only dealing with today's innovations, but how we're investing in innovations for the future ecosystems that are ahead of us in terms of all forms of air travel, commercial, defense, executive, and the new advanced air mobility. Fantastic innovations, all centered around sustainability. And it's a big part of Embraer and how we're looking forward to the future of our product. When you look at some of the key factors as you look at Embraer, you have to understand who are we and what are we trying to do. And our first and most important focus is recognizing we are a part of an ecosystem to empower air mobility. And how we do that is through innovation. And innovation now is going real quick. You have to keep up with it because there's new trends and there's new buyers and there's new activity and new expectations that are forging. So we oftentimes have to come back to what are the principles that Embraer is so successful at? The first, engineering excellence. Over 52 years of prowess in development, certification and production of aircraft across all our business platforms. What makes that so unique, whether it's for commercial, defense, executive, or support and services aftermarket, the key is to recognize you can cross-pollinate all of that innovation and all that technology and bring it to all the different sectors so they can do so in a very optimized way. And we have key individuals that are focused, and I'll talk about this, vertical innovations, and that comes from that excellence that we bring to all of our product platforms. Second, you have to focus on efficiencies. We are deeply rooted in bringing things to marketplace that provide propulsion solutions, low operating costs, built for maintainability, combining ergonomics, craftsmanship, and design inside the plane to provide a safe journey for all of our customers across the segments. That comes from efficiencies that you have to continue to work for. Some of those efficiencies are rooted in sustainability as well, because now you have to have an operations and a production facility that is being driven by 100% renewable energy. That efficiency goes into bringing low-cost solutions to the marketplace that deliver high-value propositions for our customer. Third, the customer. You got to put the customer in the center of everything you do. And more so now because they're younger and younger and younger and younger, and they have higher expectations. So, and you're going to have them with you longer. So you have to invest in a very customer-centric philosophy. How you think about the plane, how you build the plane, how you deliver the product to the customer, and most importantly, how you service them once they have that product. So these principles are who Embraer is, and how we build our mobility solutions across the platforms is something really important as we look forward to this future. And the future is kind of interesting. There's some paradigms out there right now. And those paradigms provide either puzzlement or opportunity, depending on your perspective. We like to take the approach of there are opportunities here. So when we were together the last time, we talked a lot about these first-time buyers. And it's something that statistically now there's data, when you look at 2022, 2021, 2020, there actually came into the marketplace accessing aircraft in fractional, in charter, in whole ownership, in used and new buying. They're here. Now are they going to stay? That's the challenge. How are you going to keep them immersed in your brand? What's going to happen when something happens operationally to their aircraft? Are they going to back away? What are you going to do to keep them focused on the safety, the quality, and the value propositions of your products, your brands, your services? So first-time buyers are someone you have to focus on. Second, digital. So when you think about this industry, these innovations are very much focused on the digital connections. Some of which are simple connections that are happening inside of the aircraft. But it goes beyond that, how you connect with the customer, right? Portals of information that provides education, on-site experiences, digital solutions with configurators, how to build and visual aid the aircraft that you want to see for that customer in the future. These connections are getting much more important, and they're going at a very quick and accelerating pace. Sustainable solutions. It's not enough to think about sustainability like it had been in the past as a desire or some kind of noble cause. It's a demand necessity, and we have the responsibility and a commitment to proceed on that path with true solutions and concepts that we have to create for the future. And what's the pathway to execute from today to that future? It takes ideas. And the ideas we have announced so far are talking about Energia, a platform of products. And those products are going to be very exciting pathways to future developments across all of our sectors. And then another paradigm, again, opportunity or challenge. Supply chain. This is a huge issue for the industry. It stems all the way back to raw materials. So right now, people are saying, oh, where's my plane? Where's my parts? Take care of me. What's going on? Don't understand. You have to go all the way to the roots of some of the challenges that are facing. Steel, aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, casings, coatings, polyurethanes, all the things that go into the aircraft at the raw material level. If I ordered something today in those categories, it used to take 180 days, now it takes 540 days to get the same product from the PO to your shelf where you need it to build something or take care of your customer. Real challenges. What are you doing about addressing those challenges? It takes collaboration. First, internally with your team. That's where we're really efficient at what we do. We're the best at lean manufacturing solutions. Second is the collaboration with your suppliers. And we're on site working with those suppliers to tackle this paradigm head on. And you have to start thinking not just for today's customers, but the backlog that's strong into the future of the marketplace. Very important, big part of the paradigms. And these are evolving at a very fast pace. Interestingly, data matters. And so you have to oftentimes feed yourself with information. Oftentimes knowledge comes from data and wisdom comes from the experience from using that knowledge. And that's what happens with some of the new trends that are happening. There are compelling trends in the industry. So whether you pick up Inc.'s article on the megatrends or you pick up the PricewaterhouseCoopers megatrends, you'll get some information about trends that are happening both inside of aerospace or over the global landscape. I highlighted a few because these are the ones that we believe are specific to aerospace and what we are seeing in our market. First, experience, which is kind of interesting that that's a trend because one of the visions we have at Executive Jet is to deliver the ultimate experience in business aviation, and now experience is a definition as a primary driver for how people make decisions. And it's changing in several ways. One, it's much more tactile, hands-on engagement, real. Two, it's happening at a very quick pace with younger generations. People are accessing travel 20 years sooner than they did before in business aviation. So experience is going to be a big driver. The future of mobility. Well, we've heard a lot about advanced air mobility, this new ecosystem of urban pain points being solved three-dimensionally. First mile, last mile is our program with Eve Air Mobility. And that's a very important part of the future. We have to try to understand what does that future mobility look like. It has to be seamless. From ground to sky and everything in between has to be thought through from that experience perspective. Third, don't do it unless it's clean. You got to have a clean energy solution, and it's got to go beyond propulsion. It's got to take on the entire facility of how you operate and build the aircraft and component parts, and it has to go right into the aircraft in every way, not just the propulsion system, but the actual parts and service aspects of the aircraft. And then, interesting, the last driver is that this artificial intelligence, right? It's like wisdom used to be something you had to learn over a lifetime. Now you just press a button and it's sitting in the palm of your hand. A lot of knowledge is accessible through AI, and that AI knowledge is being applied both to the user interface as well as to the production process of the aircraft. Very exciting trends. Okay, trends is one thing. What are you doing with it? At Embraer, we have 8 verticals. I'm highlighting 4 of them specifically for you today because I think they really touch on the innovations that we're focused on in executive jets. And the first one is critical, which is the zero emissions propulsion systems. Now, our aircraft are here. They flew here on SAF. It is the bridge to the future in terms of reducing the carbon footprint and getting from net zero goals to net impact of any kind, even how you created the electricity or solutions in a renewable way. So it's important for us to take that leap and that step. It starts with SAF. Autonomy is a more and more investment of innovation. We are looking at solutions for autonomous flight. It's not going to only apply to Eve with our urban air mobility, but beyond that, in terms of all aspects of simplifying flight. And we have to work very closely with regulatory bodies. Here, FAA, EASA, ANAC in Brazil, all of the bodies across the enterprise specifically to recognize that safety comes first. And we have to manage the human factors of the interface of autonomy. And we have to be patient and smart and thoughtful in how we approach this, but continue to advance the ecosystem and the systems that support that. And then lastly, everything's moving very quickly. We're now on Industry 4.0. I remember when it was Industry 2.0, so it goes really quick. You have to keep up with how does all this big data being transformed digitally now apply to how you build things. And we're seeing more and more adaptive manufacturing as a result of that. When you look at these trends, and then you embrace that engineering excellence with the enterprise efficiency and the customer-centric approach, you have to bring it back to the driver of experience. And to keep these customers, whether they be longtime brand loyalists that have been with us throughout our journey, or whether they're first-time buyers to the brand, you have to not take anything for granted. You have to invest in immersing them in your brand in every way. And it starts with recognizing that it is a journey. So you have to focus a lot on what you are going to do with that customer. Education, critical. Whether that education is about your product, your service, your company, your brand, safety is at the root of all of that. Once you have a customer who is interested in your brand, what are you doing to stay connected with them throughout that journey? There's anticipation phases, right? There's learning phases. There's delivery and focuses on things that are very much specific to the plane, all of which needs to be delivering value. And we deliver value through our 4 clean sheet design aircraft, the Phenom family 100 and 300, and the Praetor family 500 and 600. The key to that is disruptive technology, unmatched performance, superior comfort, and top-ranked customer support. Now, while we appreciate getting ranked by the journalists that provide data on that, it comes to the day-to-day. Every day, we have to get validated by talking to our customers about how we're taking care of them. And we're making investments in our customers for the seamless support that's necessary. So much so that at the show, we brought a mobile response truck to the show, and it's at the static. Because we have to recognize it's not just about the plane. It's also about the service after you buy it and take delivery of the plane. And the support that's necessary is 24/7, 365, every day, all day, to immerse yourself in making sure you're AOG for return to service, parts availability, and being empathetic to the circumstances that are facing every customer when something happens to that mission that they were intending to have, and you have to take care of them when they need it, how they need it. And that's a big part of managing a customer base, is not just about how you're advancing the innovations in your product, but also the advances of the innovations in your service. And we announced today, very excitingly, right here in Orlando, Florida, we with our partner Flight Safety International that we have a Praetor 500-600 simulator that'll be operational first quarter 23. Now, very exciting to see the commitment to the growing segment of the super mid-sized category aircraft, and that's another statement for the key to the support for our business. I talked a little bit about autonomy and mobility in the future. It's a critical factor for managing how we get forward. Safety is something that our family at CEO talks about. Safety first, quality always. And if you look at those words, they're as simple and clear as they sound, right? You have to really make a full commitment in that. Autonomy is going to be a big part of that. Otherwise, you have a missile flying at risk, right? So you have to make sure you're focused on the safety factors associated with that asset, and we're working on that. What you don't hear a lot about is the workforce flexibility solution that's created through autonomy. So with our Phenom family, we already have single pilot approval for the 100 and 300. So they're already built safe, and they fly safe with single pilot. And that has been a huge success story of the Phenom family brand. And now we're going to take that success and apply it to Eve and apply it to other product families across our commercial, defense, and executive platforms, and do it in a safe way that hopes to open up the door for workforce flexibility for pilots, technicians, talented workplace. And then lastly is making sure that you got to do it cost effectively. Something that we think about at Embraer all the time in that operational efficiency category. We have to not just bring something to market because it's cool. You have to bring it to the market because it's sustainable and that it's feeding in the ecosystem at a cost that is affordable for the parties that are interested in the product. So this enabling process that we're going through is exciting. So when you look at, well, what are you doing today to help you get there? So we're the first ones to introduce full fly-by-wire on the Praetors, which is the medium category and super mid-sized category aircraft. You see that in defense products. Well, we brought it from our defense platform. We see it in commercial. Well, we brought it from our commercial platform. But no one brought it down to the smaller aircraft. So that's an example of the prowess that we have in our engineering excellence to think beyond the current definition. That's an example. ROAS, right? Runway overrun avoidance systems, predictive wind shear, HUD, E2VS. The technology is already in the aircraft. And a lot of things, people are afraid of autonomy, but the pieces that have helped build the future state of aviation are already formed. And now we're bringing it together with those innovations to advance the ecosystem in a meaningful way, and yet in a very safe way. Well, I've sprinkled a lot of talk about sustainability, but it's, you got to put your money where your mouth is, and so this is Embraer's commitment to sustainability. That was a big part of the transformation that we focused on all through the challenging crisis years. Was about our reframing of our commitment for ESG. And obviously highlighted here is very much the E part of our social responsibility to the environment and to the mothership of Earth. And so the first step is recognizing that we, in 2022, want to be neutral going forward. So that's the baseline. The industry says, well, by 2050, everything's got to be zero. So what are you going to do in between? And so Embraer's stepping up and saying, okay, well, I'm going to make sure my operations are running 100% renewable energy on all of its sites by 2030, and some of the sites are already ahead of that pace, which is very exciting. And then you have to also recognize we have to get to our own goals of carbon neutral and carbon neutrality, and we're trying to do it ahead of where the industry might go. This is a fast evolving area that requires capital and commitment and courage. And then we have all three of those as we look at this environment, which is a very important part of the ecosystem of the future, and in some cases may be the defining moment as we look forward in the next 50 years. So if you take those innovations and you look at all these changing paradigms and you start to put together the concepts of experience and delivering value, what would that future look like? What are the things that we're all trying to see, trying to either prevent or are concerned about, trying to protect, right, or expand and operationalize? Well, you first have to come with a little bit of vision And you have to sort of see, what would it be like if it already existed today? And so we have proven some of these factors. The first one is, airplanes got to fly electric. Can it fly electric? Well, we happen to have a very small aircraft called the Embraer, and it's a test bed for testing high voltage electricity. 100% electric. Highlighted there, you'll see that white and blue electric demonstrator, and it's flying to Dos Cross in Brazil. And it validates, one, that it operationally can fly, and fly safely. Two, it can harness 100% high voltage electricity. And then the learnings can be applied to other products. Then when you look at the family of products that are highlighted on the left, that's called Energia. They're concepts. And there's 4 key categories of those concepts. 100% SAF. As you know, right now it's 50-50 blend. 100% FAS have to be proven. Can it work? Technology's there. My propulsion partners are here. They will tell you that the aircraft engines can get there. Now it's the sealants and the infrastructure to support it, and the pipelines and the tanks and all the things that support the pathways to accelerate the growth of the use of it to amplify that to 100%. But you got to test, does it work? So we did. We've tested on the E195, E2, commercial jet, used 100% SAF, validates it works, and we have plans for first quarter of 23 to apply that to the Phenom and the Praetor jet. And that same testing process will then validate that it can be done and bring the success back to our partners to make sure that that ecosystem will work. That's the first one. When you move past SAF, you start looking at what else can you do? And obviously all electric is category number 2, 100% electric product. Category 3 is hybrid electric, because you have to go far and gravity is not on your side, so you have to start with small things before you can do big things, and sometimes a hybrid solution might be your answer. Well, you see things happening on rail and buses and cars, and they don't have to worry about gravity. So they have an advantage of bringing it to that mobile transportation. We are going to do the same thing as an industry and ecosystem to bring it to air, but you're going to start small, and you're going to do it safely. Hybrid electric could be a bridge to longer distances, combining some of that knowledge as we move forward. And then the final and fourth category is hydrogen. And that hydrogen could be hydroelectric cells on the ground to create SAF, or it could be hydrogen cells that go inside of a commercial E2 or on a Praetor, right, in place of its current propulsion systems. Those are evolving propulsion solutions specifically address sustainability, trying to shape the ecosystem as opposed to react to it. Embraer is focused on making sure we help to deliver what the solutions are for the future. Let's take a look.
A river forges a new path, not through the power of force, but through the power of persistence. Likewise, our industry must forge a more sustainable ecosystem of air travel through persistent action and disruptive innovation, beginning with the efforts of today. Embraer continues to increase its adoption of sustainable aviation fuel, including its continued integration at our executive jet's headquarters in Melbourne, Florida, the election of book and claim when SAF is unavailable, and research into making our fleet compatible with 100% SAF, which recently saw the first successful test flight of an Embraer aircraft. As SAF production continues to ramp up, Embraer is also incentivizing its customers to adopt more sustainable practices today, with a carbon offsetting program available to new Embraer executive care customers. And through disruptive innovation, we continue investing in tomorrow's ecosystem, such as ongoing research into low or zero emission propulsion systems, including electric, hybrid electric, and hydrogen. The advancement of urban air mobility through EVE's electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, and through forward-thinking concepts that illuminate a harmonious ecosystem of sustainable air travel. Concepts such as Praetor, an interior concept that explores a green cabin environment composed of sustainable, recycled, and upcycled materials. Pulse, a concept that envisions a truly seamless travel experience via an autonomous, low-emission aeroterrestrial executive vehicle. And a future concept which aims to showcase unmanned flight in autonomous, 3-cabin zone aircraft efficiently designed to take you farther, faster, with 100% SAF in a digitally savvy cabin environment. With this forward-focused mentality, human-centered approach, and passion to make a difference, we will continue to accelerate the ecosystem and inspire tomorrow's reality.
Proud to be a part of this company because of how it thinks, and how it looks at the future, and how we're going to help enable a safer, more sustainable future for the entire ecosystem that's not even yet defined. And we are happy that you're a part of it, committed here at NBAA. This gives you a little opportunity to see where we're going to be, to experience in a very human-centered way how we can immerse you in our brand. So come see the aircraft, obviously at Static. You'll see the mobile response truck to take care of our service and support team. We have a carbon offset program for the customers that sign up to Embraer Executive Care for the first year and 25 hours. We have the opportunity to have a brief breakfast tomorrow with some more interesting news in regards to where the industry is going for that future. And then Albany Serpa, who's here, is one of our key directors for product strategy and competitive intelligence, and he has 2 speaking engagements, one on innovation in the innovation zone, and the second is specific on sustainability and some of the challenges that the industry is facing in regards to that. So thank you for being part of our press conference, and enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know if there's any time for questions.